America, and welcome to Invent America, because America invents.
This episode of Invent America TV is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network and has been bringing to you the best of America's home-based product innovation since 1998. This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. We have been for centuries, and we will continue long after this tariff mess is all cleaned up, because that's what we do. We make things. So my guest right now is Bob Labbe. He is the inventor of the Ultimate Coaster. And, you know, the funny story is when he first told me about it, and I'm thinking, okay, my husband has been complaining for years that he puts his cup on his coaster and then, you know, it condenses and the water gets all over, and then he promptly picks it up and drops it on his tie. And Bob, thanks for being with us today, because you know what? I gave my husband a set of those in his Christmas stocking, and now there are Ultimate Coasters in every room in the house.
Well, that's great.
So anyway, tell us, you know, how you came up with it. You've got a similar story to my husband. I think most men have got ties with stains on them. So give us a little bit of background on the Ultimate Coaster.
Well, okay. Well, I was down visiting my daughter in Atlanta back in October of 2023. And we were all sitting around and having a couple cocktails and talking, and we were getting ready to go out to a nice restaurant. And I kept using the leather coaster that my daughter gave me for my Manhattan. And I was on my second Manhattan, and apparently there was enough condensate that got on that leather. I picked it up, but here I was dressed in a nice suit with a silk tie. I was dressed to the nines because we were going to a very nice restaurant. And the coaster, I didn't notice as I was talking, the coaster fell on my tie, and it got condensate all over my tie. Then it went down the coat of my suit, and then it got on my pants, and then it fell on her wood floor. So it had, and in one thing, it messed up the tie, the coat, the pants, and the floor all in one. So, and you know, I had just finished making a deal to sell my third air pollution control company. So I was 2 months away from full retirement. And I thought, well, what am I going to do when I retire? Well, this was the impetus to get me there, because this is a pet peeve. It has always been with me, but it was subliminal at the time because I never thought about inventing anything like this. But after this happened, I said to my daughter, I said, I'm going to invent a coaster that really works. And so that's what set me on the direction of doing this thing. And so having all the engineering people in place and have the manufacturing capabilities, I did all this kind of stuff in the air pollution control for big equipment all my life. Okay. So there was nothing new to the process I was going through. Never lived in the household commercial world though. So that was all new to me, and it still is. I'm still learning. And my daughter and son-in-law that run the company and all, I'm still pretty much retired. I'm a talking head now, okay? And I interact with them and tell them what I'm thinking, and we have monthly reports and all that kind of stuff. But that was what caused me to do it. And then I started looking into the patents, because I know you were talking about patents, and I knew that coasters had to be made by many people, and many of them. There are scores of coasters out there made from paper and wood and marble and ceramics, whatever you want, and they're all different colors and shapes, and they all have all cute little sayings on it. So I knew I was entering a market that was already full. Yeah. But the reason I went forward with this, I will say this: the Ultimate Coaster is the only coaster in the world that does what it's supposed to do. It captures, conveys, collects, and contains condensate, so it doesn't get on your table or your clothes or your floor and mess everything up. And that thought, well, gosh, if it would do that and we can do it economically, let's go forward. So I drew up the hand sketches of this thing. I gave it to my chief engineer. He put it in AutoCAD and the various manufacturing drawings you need to do. Then I sent it over to the small, excuse me, the small patent group, law group here. Chris Carroll is a friend of mine. And I said, Chris, take a look at this thing, study it, and then tell me if it's worth going forward. He looked at it, and I looked at the same time, and all the patents on coasters had expired. So there was nobody who had a patent on a coaster. And he said, yeah, he said, Bob, he said, with all your claims in here and all your engineering background, I think it's worthy to go forward. And I said, okay.
I want to back you up just a little bit. So, like you said, there are lots of different coasters out there. I've got a whole bunch of sets of coasters that are beautiful sitting on the coffee table and useless when it comes to exactly working the way they're supposed to. So, they might protect the wood on the table, but then they destroy everything else when they drop off the bottom of the cup. So how did you figure out how to make it work right?
Well, if you look at the ultimate coaster, it's a grid top, okay? But it's got little semicircle cuts out in it on every grid. And those are called capillaries. And capillaries cause flow to occur. So when the condensate runs down the side of the cup, it gets caught on the grid and it goes through the capillary, and the capillary causes it to flow into the pan. And that's why it captures, conveys, collects, and contains. And no other coaster on the market does that. Okay.
Well, I always tell inventors, it's like, you've got to have a difference in the marketplace. So when you solve a problem everybody knows they have, destroying your table, all right, from heat and cold and water and whatever, everybody knows the problem. So when you've got a better solution to the problem, it's easier to make the sale. When you've got to teach someone that they have a problem they didn't even know they had, now you're spending millions of dollars teaching that somebody that they've got, they should be playing on their apple instead of eating their apple. And most inventors don't have deep enough pockets for that kind of lesson. But when you're solving a problem better, all right, it's easier than to get it into the marketplace. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about, what you guys have done so far. So stick with us, everybody. We're going to take a break, go pay some bills, and we will be right back, and we will kind of pick Bob's brain on how they went forward and then started getting people's attention. So everybody stay with us. We will be right back.
This segment of Invent America TV is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
And we are here with an inventor, Bob Labbe, and he has invented the ultimate coaster. He is going after a licensing deal, which we are in the midst of talking about with a potential licensee. And it came out of going to the ASD Market Week in March, which was a great show. So, you had to do some stuff to get there to that ASD Market Week. You guys have been manufacturing these for a while now, right?
We have. We definitely have. We started manufacturing. The prototype was actually June of 2024. And from June, we had to go through a process of evaluating and making sure the product was correct. And by the first week of October, we had finally gotten the product exactly the way we wanted it. And then we proceeded with the first 1,000 units of a product. And now we've manufactured over 20,000 units now, and we've sold over 10,000 units now. And I guess in the process of manufacturing, we like everybody that lives in the United States would love to stamp on their product, made in the USA. So we, Bart, as you know, Bart, he sat out last April and May when we started looking to get serious about total manufacturing, and tried to find a North American manufacturer, but particularly a USA manufacturer. Unfortunately, through going through more than 60 possibilities, we couldn't find anybody that was priced properly to be competitive with the rest of the coaster market. So lo and behold, as many people have to do, and we did, we went to the Asian market. We tried India, Vietnam, Korea, China, etc. And of course, China won because they are most vested in manufacturing cheap products and sending them to the United States. And we knew that, but we really didn't want to go there.
Right.
But we had to, because we had to be competitive in the marketplace. And we are very competitive in the marketplace. And so to that end, that's how we got started in the manufacturing process. Interestingly enough, though, just in the last month and a half, BART particularly has located a manufacturer that's very close to our home. That's a U.S. manufacturer who, with the tariff considerations, with the shipping cost from China, we have been able, as if we buy more than 5,000 units at a time, we have found a way clear to be competitive using this U.S. manufacturer.
Wonderful.
So we're negotiating right now a manufacturing agreement with the U.S. manufacturer and see if we can arrive at something that's good. It's got to be good for both of us. He's got to make a profit. We got to make a profit. So we're in negotiations now, and we're hopeful that soon we'll be able to stamp on our product made in the USA.
Well, that would be absolutely amazing. And I know we're working a lot more to help facilitate some of that with our inventors and different folks who are manufacturing. And, you know, it's an unfortunate piece, but, you know, it was, you know, going to happen eventually. And so I'm excited to see more of our inventors moving production back to the U.S. And if you don't mind, at some point, I will have you share with me that resource, because we've got a lot of inventors who are looking exactly at this dilemma of bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. And we are excited to be able to help do that.
Well, we're going to keep our secret for a while.
Oh, now come on. We share in America. But, so, you know, at what point then did you decide, we've got this, this product is, you know, it's solving a problem everybody understands, and ours is different enough to take the risk to manufacture?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I live in a golf community here in Baldwin, Missouri, right outside of St. Louis. And I play a lot of golf with a lot of friends. And I've written a book called Putting by the Numbers, which is a golf book about putting. So with my buddies on the golf course, I took some coasters out and showed them the product and explained to them how it worked. And there's 68 people that live in the villas here around the golf course. And of course, I've given most of them several coasters just because they're friends. But everyone, when we started talking about this problem, had the problem of the coaster sticking to the glass. If it was a leather coaster or a ceramic coaster, the condensate would flow over the edges of it and get on the table anyway. And so we all had a commonality of problems with the coaster. And so I guess that helped me know that this was a good product and it was worth giving it a shot. And of course, you know, we've spent a little bit of money, but we've been very careful. We went to the ASD show that you know very well, and we've had a lot of good reaction from a number of medias. We're doing heavily into social media, and we got a nice website, and we got our product is available on Amazon, is available on our website, and we're hoping to continue to get it out there. We've gone to the Fortune 500 companies and letters and samples, and we've got a 1 to 3% return on that. We've gone to the promotional companies, and we're having reasonable success there. We have a nice contract with Bigfoot here in Pacific, Missouri. And so things are going pretty well, but we got a long way to go.
I understand. All right. So for all of our listeners out there who have used a coaster that's made a mess and they want the ultimate coaster, where should they go to find you?
Well, they need our website, of course, is www.embarked, I'm not supposed to say that anymore. ultimatecoasterco.com.
All right. And they can Google then, they can go to Amazon and Google Ultimate Coaster.
Correct. And our products on Amazon, our products on our website. The most recent product that everybody seems to love is the Clear Coaster. Okay. And we've had a lot of companies buy that Clear Coaster, and they're doing their own printing on it with their professional logo of their sports team or their company, whatever. And so the Clear Coaster, be it a transparent or translucent, have become the favorite sellers right now.
Excellent. Excellent. Good for you. Good for you. So then what's next? What are some your issue right now is, like you said, finding the US manufacturing. But then, all right, let's get that US manufacturing in place. What's next? What are you looking for at that point?
Well, Rita, I think you've already hit the nail on the head several months ago. You put the bug in our ear about licensing. And we believe that if we're ever going to be successful, we've got to have one or two or three worldwide licensees that's going to take this product all over the country and all over the world. And we have, because of that, we have a U.S. patent fully in place, and we have a PCT patent that, of course, you helped us on that issue. So that's in place too. And we plan to hopefully get one, two, or three of these licensees in place before that PCT runs out, so we can choose which country we want to perfect that patent in.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure to work with you guys. We love the coaster, and you're in a unique spot right now where you can pull your product back, you can make it in the US, you can look at then the costs. We're going to see a lot more of that happening, and you've got one of those easy things that it's people can understand. And so it is absolutely a pleasure to be part of your journey and to see what we can do for you. So I am looking forward to having a lot more conversations with you and Bart and Stacy. It was a pleasure to have them at the show with us. And you never know, one of these days we'll get you out there to that show.
Oh, I might come next year if I'm not in Cabo.
All right. All right. So everybody stick with us. We will be right back after we go and pay some bills. And our industry expert is going to be with us, and he's got some perspective to help inventors understand what's going on out there, but he's also got some really cool new products that he's going to tell everyone about. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back. If you're an inventor or an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free, inventorsroundtable.org. And we are so lucky to have our industry expert with us for this segment. And right now, in this era, Made in America is a big deal. And if you're not there already, they will be. So every consumer out there, when you have that option to buy Made in the USA, please support all of our American inventors who are manufacturing in the USA. Kevin Cody, CEO and founder of FLI Products. And so, Kevin, tell us what's new.
How are you today? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So glad to have you. It's funny because you just live down the street from me. It's exciting to be able to talk about, the new products and what's happening. I mean, one of my guys who's going to be a speaker at our Inventors Roundtable meeting this week, the title is, making opportunity out of chaos.
Yeah.
And, part of this tariff thing is the chaos.
Yep.
And so when we look at opportunity, it's how are we bringing things back to the US and getting products out there?
Absolutely. It's a great time actually to evaluate your strategies as a company, if you're a Made in the USA company in particular, and set your path, pivot a little bit and then set your path toward where the opportunities are going to present themselves. And that's kind of where we are in the middle of all of this, because most importantly to us has been the elimination of the de minimis clause. And that is really beginning to open up some doors, and people are beginning to look at some products that we've had that may not have fit into their mix before, but they've now got to fill some empty hooks with.
So help our listeners understand, what is that de minimis clause?
The de minimis clause was actually something that was designed to help developing countries bring products into the United States. And I'm not sure of all of the politics of this, and I don't even want to get into that, except for the fact that basically any product that made its way through customs that was under $800 value could be brought in with no tariff. And that has been the single biggest driver for Amazon, for Temu, for Shine, and for TikTok, and their success, to the detriment of most small manufacturers today.
Right.
Because those products are coming with significantly lower cost of goods, and they're not paying taxes, and they're not paying tariffs, because most of these companies that are bringing the products in are offshore companies.
Yeah.
They're not paying taxes. They're not paying tariffs. They're not paying anything into the U.S. tax system, like all of the U.S. domestic manufacturers are.
Most people don't even know that. They get all wrapped up in the tariff issue, and they don't really understand what is going on in the details. But, before we get, into this, what is your specialty? What do you guys do at FLI Products?
So we have a range of products really in housewares, sporting goods, outdoor lawn and garden, and a couple other categories that we have developed over the years with and through domestic manufacturers. We still do, because of just long-standing relationships, have some products that come from overseas. But for the most part, about 90% of our 350 SKUs today are actually made here in the U.S.
Wonderful. And so give everybody the website. Tell them how cool your products are.
Yeah, sure. It's www.fliproducts.com, fliproducts.com. And you'll be able to go on there and see the Made in USA banner and selection, and as well as each of the individual categories of products.
And you do have a wide range of categories. I've been on the site multiple times and said, okay, well, here's one that might fit, and be able to see if we can get you lined up with the inventor so you can be a reseller of their products. And the challenges that you see, how do you determine a new product? How do you determine, yes, this is different enough from the things that are out there?
Sure, certainly market demand. And is there something that is unique about the product that's going to give it value that people will recognize, especially in a product that may already be out there today, but provide a different solution for? And that's one of the things that we like to be able to really tout about, the differences in our products and the value. And then obviously, are you able to scale it up? Can you produce it in enough quantity and do it fast enough that if we are fortunate enough to get a customer like a Home Depot or a Walmart or a Lowe's or somebody like that, are you going to be able to make enough to be able to satisfy the demand? Because the last thing you want to do is take an order from a customer and not deliver.
That is true. That's not a good thing.
Right. So, and then, does a product have a retail fit? Some are are really good for potential retail, but it depends on who the customer is and price points and where it's going to fit on the shelf. So an analysis of that would be, maybe a portion of the product or product assortment will fit. Some may not. And so it depends on the availability.
Yep. I know it's complicated. So this is a topic that we will talk about again with our inventors. It's something that I deal with inventors on every time I talk to a new one about going to market. So everyone, we will be back next week with a new topic for inventors and, new solutions and really fun products for you guys to go out and buy. So join us and have a wonderful week.